In order to set up a text area and vertical or horizontal scrolling within a custom Unity editor window, you're going to want to first create a C# script in a folder called editor. I already created one called scrolling. You can call yours whatever you want. Open that up. Delete everything inside the class. You're going to add a using for Unity editor and then change mono behavior to editor window. Now we need to show the actual custom window via public static void. I'll call it show. Then you're going to set the class name of scrolling. Call the variable w for window equals scrolling, get window, type of, and once again, scrolling. And set the min size of the window to be a new vector 2 of 250 by 250. We're also going to set the max size to be a new vector 2, and we'll double the size to be 500 by 500. Then we're actually going to need to add a menu item to the top to be able to navigate to this new window. So we'll do it under window in the toolbar, and we'll call it scrolling. And save that, go back over to Unity, to window, scrolling, and there is the empty editor window. Now in order to add anything to it, we need to go create private void on GUI. And then we're going to create a string. I'll call it text. And then we can leave it blank for now. Or actually, I have some text that I already typed up before this video. To make this quicker, I'll just copy and paste that into here. So now this text is going to be too wide to be able to be shown on this small of an editor window. So we're actually going to set up a scroll position, call it scroll pos. It's actually a vector 2, and we'll set it to vector 2.0, and we're actually going to set up a second one, just call it scroll pos 2. Also set it to vector 2.0. One of those will be used for horizontal scrolling. So we can go ahead and set that up now. So we'll use scroll pos for that, set it equal to editor GUI layout dot begin scroll view, and then scroll pos GUI layout dot height, set that height to be 100 pixels. And then we're going to set the text, that long string of text that'll be too wide, to editor GUI layout dot TextArea, text, comma, GUI layout dot expand height equals true. So we can expand the height for the scrolling, and then editor GUI layout dot end scroll view. So I'm actually going to add a flexible space via GUI layout dot flexible space, and that'll be used later. It's not necessary, but if we save and go over to the view, now we can see that horizontal scrolling works. And when we make the window wider or less wide, it changes the size of the scroll. Now we're going to set up vertical scrolling. So we use that second scroll pos, set it equal to editor GUI layout dot begin scroll view. This is basically the same as above, scroll pos 2 GUI layout dot height, and we'll also set this to 100. Now we're actually going to set up some text that's vertical and will be too tall, whereas the horizontal scrolling above was for that text area where the text was too wide. So we'll set up a for loop, and within that for loop we're just going to print a label, call it vertical scrolling just for some sample text, and we're going to print that 10 times. And then we're going to end the scroll view. Now this will be too tall, which means that the scroll will actually be on the right and it'll be a vertical scroll. And we can actually change that for loop to be not 15, 25 to add even more iterations of that text, and that, if you saw that, makes the scroll bar even smaller. And that's it.